Hello, everybody. How are you? Happy 2024. Isn't it kind of crazy that it is the new year and that last year went so fast? And I'm here to talk about New Year's resolutions or this theme that everyone seems to have that they think they need to create something new and do all sorts of things differently every time the ball drops. So, first things first is have you taken the time to look at what happened in the previous year? In 2023, what happened? It was interesting. I was listening to a podcast from Mel Robbins, one of my favorites. I know I talk about her a little bit. And she has this workbook and she has she had a podcast on have you looked at what you should be grateful for. So she suggests that you go through your camera roll month by month and then write down all the things that you did or you accomplished or you had. You do that for the entire year to see a lot of things. See is first is to really comprehend how many things we do and then we forget. And we don't want to necessarily forget anything. We want to encapsulate them and be thankful for them first and foremost, and second to see what we liked and didn't like about what we had going on the previous year. So maybe there was some travel that you really enjoyed, and because it had something in common, maybe it was because you spent more time outdoors, or maybe it was because you traveled to more cities last year and you like that, so now you should travel to more cities and not the countryside, or vice versa. Or you spent more time with your family than you remembered doing, or maybe you had more joy at work than you remembered. A friend of mine, Mary Beth Rockledge, who hopefully will be listening to this podcast, gave me great insights as to how she remembers her things. They have a meeting at her work on every Wednesday, and you're supposed to report out on what you did that week. And as annoying as that sounds, what Mary Beth took it for was the opportunity to catalog, to record, to remember all of her accomplishments. So when she had her year-end review with her boss, guess what? She downloaded all her accomplishments and her weekly status updates, and she had fodder for one kick-ass review session with her boss. She was clear on what she did, when she did it, what the results were, what happened, all of it. All of it was there. So shout out to Mary Beth. So that's the kind of thing you want to do. Close out the previous year first and foremost. Don't get so excited about adding more shit to your calendar. And that's another thing. If you're going to add things, remove things. What didn't give you joy? Who didn't give you joy? Who do you want to spend more time with? Who do you want to spend less time with? Those kinds of inventory items and questions are the kinds of things that you want to be doing at the year end or the beginning of the year. Instead of a resolution, I promise I won't eat any sweet foods. Well, that's bull. The reality is, I want to cut down on my sugar and I'm going to have dessert only on weekends. Okay, that's a legitimate, easier way to implement than being hard and fast about everything and being all or nothing. Life doesn't work in an all or nothing scenario. I found that out the hard way. It took me many years, but I can tell you that life is in the gray space, not in the black and white space. So if you want to exist and have a great, happy, joyful life, you can't be all or nothing. You have to have a little bit of things that maybe don't give you joy, but you certainly want to over index on the things that make you happy and smile. So that's the first thing is close out the year, look at your camera roll, write down the things that made you happy, look at your accomplishments at work, and then see what you want to do the same. What worked for you? Like we had an okay year this year, what things did we do with clients that I need to keep doing? So I did that. I did an inventory on what are the things that are working, the onboarding process. Great. The taking care of their social media and LinkedIn accounts. Great. Their way that we explain their branding and their repositioning and their messaging. Great. All those are examples to say what worked and what do we need to keep doing. So that's one thing as a takeaway. The other thing is, what do you want to have be your big goals for next year? This year, I took on launching this podcast and writing and launching my book. Those were two big BHAGs, really big, hairy, audacious goals that honestly, if you had asked me that, would it be possible last year in January? I probably would have said to you, maybe not, but I did it with the help of great, great people. Shout out to Kendra Debris. that happened as a result of just putting my head down and committing time to the effort, to the goal. Because you can have a goal, but then if you don't have the action plan to back up what needs to happen for that goal to happen, it's just wishful thinking like anything else. It's a dream. It's an aspiration, but it doesn't really mean anything. That's why people don't understand the idea of affirmations. Affirmations don't work if you're like, I want to $250,000 for his car. Well, that doesn't mean anything. What's if you really, really want that, and that's really what your goal is, or if you want your first house, or you want your whatever it is, you need to create the action plan that's going to get you to those results. So that you need to back up the truck, as I like to say. Okay. So what are your two big BHAGs? Maybe you have one BHAG. What is it going to take for you to do it? So write those things down, put it in writing, and then put it in a place like this place, like a vision board or something like this, where you can see it every day. And it reminds you to be intentional and be cognizant of that goal that you said was important to you. And maybe 3 months down the road, that's maybe you need to alter that goal, but have a goal, make it visual, post it in a place you see it every day, and then have baby steps weekly that are going to take you closer to that goal. I will share with you what my goals are this year. They're pretty scary for me, but I'm going to share them anyway. One is that I want to create and do a TEDx talk. I'm going to go into the process this year. I understand it's hard. I understand it's a little more intense and time consuming than I initially thought, but I'm going to do it. That's number one. Number two for me is that I want to start women's retreats, workshops away in fantastic places where I'm going to dissect the contents of the book and my general thinking on life and creating a life that you love with a small group of women in a fantastic destination. So those are the two things that I want to start doing this year, in addition to doing the things that work and serve our clients at On Demand CMO, and then potentially also pick up one private coaching client. And that all of those things are going to be not necessarily first come, first serve, but on an interview basis, so that we make sure that the people that are together and the people that I'm working with are cultural and personality fits, so that everybody stays engaged and accomplishing the goals that they want. So I leave you with those few thoughts. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Look at what you did right, that you did well, that you liked, that you enjoyed, that you got joy from. Do the same thing with things, with jobs, with people, with your life. Do a little more inventory. Take the time to do the inventory so that you launch the next year, in this case, 2024. As you can see with my holiday jacket on, I am commemorating the end of the year and the spirit of the season, to a way that gives you that positivity, that gives you that interest in continuing it and really kicking some butt. With that, I leave you with anything is possible if you have a plan and you have intention. I love you all. See you soon. Happy 2024. Ciao.